Hello and welcome to this demonstration of co-authoring in Office web apps. My name is Matthew Hughes and I'm from a company called Flucidity Limited. There's a little bit of information about myself. We're going to jump straight into the demos, no point in hanging around just talking about myself. So, right. The demonstration is to show you how co-authoring works. It's one of the common questions I get from people is, oh, have you used co-authoring? What's it look like? How's it work? What kind of indications do you get that you're actually in co-authoring mode? So what I've got set up here is I've got two users logged on. I've got it in private mode so I can have my second user. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the most obvious thing to co-author, which is Word. So we'll jump straight into Word. And we're using Word web app here, so if you want to see what's going on, as you can see in the taskbar right at the bottom here, currently there's nothing going on. If I go and say edit Word in the web app on my second user, you'll see that as we start to edit some content and we hit save, the second user will start to update some of this content as well. So that person hits save as well. And what web app actually does behind the scenes is it's sitting there polling fairly often that it can spot some of these changes happening. So you can see down in the bottom right hand side now it says 2 people are editing. I can see the 2 users there. And it also tells me that updates are available, so it's spotted that there's something happened to this document, and I can click updates are available. It will then save the document and do the sync. So there you go, I can see the update as it's happened. Now I might say that the second user actually wants to edit the content from the first user, and I'm going to add some kind of heading. So again I'm going to save that heading, I'm going to update it, and sure enough you'll see that there are updates available again. So if you're used to using Control S as a saving method, then actually you'll see these updates more often. So if I hit Control S again, I'm going to see the change that my co-author has made. So that's pretty straightforward. You can see that it works. You can see the actual color coding of the authoring that's happened here. There's not really much else to show you at that point in Word mode. So second thing that's a pretty common one people want to edit is Excel. Here we have an Excel spreadsheet. Again, I'm going to choose the option to modify this in the web app, and what you'll see happening is that if I start to change some of the stuff, again changes start to happen, and I will see some of these changes as they happen. Oh, it seems that some text there has changed to a green. If I go and make a change again in the other user, again it jumps into the change, and again you see that 2 people down at the bottom right hand side are editing this document. And again, the good thing about Excel is as you change the cells they just seem to appear, and it's just appearing as it kind of polls for that content. So it's constantly checking for the changes, and it updates the spreadsheet as the changes are made. One of the questions is kind of if you're editing the same cell, what happens, and you get some kind of conflict resolution, but it gives you an option. Somebody's going to lose content if you're both editing the same thing at exactly the same time, but chances are you're not going to be doing that. You can and you can manage that between the 2 of you anyway. Another really nice co-authoring, which I really didn't expect to be very good. I kind of thought to myself, well, how can PowerPoint really, how can you sort of edit PowerPoint in a co-authoring way? But it's just like any other Word format. It seems to quite happily want to do the co-authoring. When my second user jumps into action, we'll be able to see. So the really nice thing about this way of co-authoring is that things happen very, very quickly. This will appear as I type. So it's not just polling like the other Office web apps did. It's actually almost real time. It's not quite real time, but it's getting there, which makes for a really nice experience. Even when I add the second slide, it just appears and things start happening as I type them. You could see, hopefully you could see it was appearing there, and there's a second slide. The co-authoring mode is in the bottom left this time, so you can still see that co-authoring is taking place, but it's shifted over to the other side. Now the last piece of co-authoring that I wanted to show you was the OneNote. Now OneNote's probably in the web app is the weakest of the co-authoring experiences. Actually what happens is it takes some time to update the OneNote. It does appear and you'll see it eventually, but there is some kind of polling that goes on as well. It's not as regular as certainly as Excel, and not as regular as Word was. Now the best way I can show you these changes, there you go, there's the change. The best way I can show you these changes is actually in the OneNote client. So if I refresh this now, you'll see these things disappear, and actually as these things refresh, you'll see that the icon appears for the user. So if I add some text here, again, my counterpart, the other co-author, is going to get some of this text, and I will also see it as this thing updates for any new text that appears. So there you go, so it gives me the new text, it shows me who it was that edited it, and it puts a nice set of initials there for that particular person. So it's very, very nice way. And actually the best thing about OneNote is because it's offline, because you can use it as an offline sort of notepad, as you edit the document and you come back to it, the 2 of you or the 10 of you, how many of you there is, it's a really nice way to see those changes because it has the initials and things next to it. It's a very, very useful tool, and if you don't use OneNote already, I would highly advise you to make that one of the things you get used to and start using, because it's very, very useful. So that concludes the demo of co-authoring. As I mentioned before, co-authoring is a very nice feature, and it's very easy to use. You just need to know where to use it and how to make use of it. Also, just knowing about the polling is a really useful thing to know. Once again, my name is Matthew Hughes, and I am the co-founder of Flucidity Limited, and you can find this video and more videos at flucidity.com or via our YouTube channel.